This is the Scholarlynk news for 5th January 2021. The already delayed high-speed rail project between Singapore and Malaysia will no longer go ahead as both countries could not reach an agreement on changes proposed by Malaysia. The termination was announced by the Prime Ministers of both countries. It was also stated that Malaysia will honour its obligations, and both Singapore and Malaysia will initiate procedures to determine the amount of compensation due to Singapore for costs already incurred. Malaysian news reports in recent months suggested that the Malaysian cabinet was planning to continue the project on its own and end the rail line at Johor instead of Jurong in Singapore. Had the HSR been completed, it would have cut travel time between Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, taking just 90 minutes. This compares with over 4 hours by car and approximately 5 hours end-to-end by plane. Analysts do not expect a significant impact on ties between the two countries. Think about it. What do you think are some of the reasons why Malaysia would not want to carry on with the HSR project? A federal Islamic agency is facing a public backlash for being more concerned with the type of wordings on cakes rather than reassuring the public after reports that a syndicate had imported non-halal certified meat, including kangaroo and horse meat, to be sold as halal beef in the local market. The outcry came after the Department of Islamic Development announced that halal certified businesses could not display cakes with Merry Christmas greetings on them or risk having their halal certificates invalidated. An MP from the opposition party urged the Religious Affairs Minister to instead focus more on the halal meat scandal, as that involved the halal status of meat sold in Malaysia, as well as issues of graft and breach of trust. The Malaysian Muslim Consumers Association also criticized what it felt was a lack of transparency and progress in investigations around the meat scandal. The syndicate has allegedly been selling fake halal meat for 40 years. Think about it. Do you think investigations are proceeding slowly due to the sensitive nature of the halal issue in multiracial Malaysia? Logistical problems in clinics across the United States have caused the campaign to vaccinate the population against COVID-19 to lag far behind schedule. This has raised fears about how quickly will the country be able to tackle the pandemic. Federal officials stated that their goal was to give 20 million people their first shot of the vaccine by the end of 2020. More than 14 million doses of vaccines developed by Pfizer-BioNTech and Moderna had been delivered across the US. However, the Centers for Disease Control reported that only 2.8 million people have received their first dose. The amount of doses that have been given as a percentage of what was received varies from 48% all the way down to 11%. According to public health experts, the main reason for the slow rollout is due to federal officials leaving details of scheduling and staffing the vaccine distribution to overstretched local health officials and hospitals. Think about it. Do you think it is the job of federal or local health officials to arrange for the distribution of the vaccine to people? Britain's new guidelines on vaccinations state that if the second dose of the vaccine that a patient originally received is not available, or if the manufacturer of the first dose of the vaccine is not known, then another vaccine can be used. The vaccines from Pfizer and AstraZeneca are intended to be given out over 2 shots, spaced 3 or 4 weeks apart. This new guidance goes against guidelines from the United States, where the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has stated that authorized vaccines are not interchangeable. Further, the safety and efficacy of mixing the different products has not been evaluated. A vaccine expert from Cornell University felt that officials in Britain have abandoned science completely now and are just trying to guess their way out of a mess. The head of immunizations at Public Health England said mixing of the vaccines would only happen on extremely rare occasions and is not recommended by the government. Think about it. Do you think the vaccines can be mixed, especially when they are using different methods to trigger an immune response in humans? 7 times Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton was awarded a knighthood in the United Kingdom New Year's Honours List, published last week. The 35-year-old became the most successful F1 driver of all time, after equaling Michael Schumacher's record 7 titles and beating Schumacher's 91 race wins. As the sport's only black driver, he has used his profile to campaign for diversity and speak out against racial injustice. The citation referred to Hamilton's sporting record and his charitable and philanthropic contributions in the UK and overseas. Hamilton is the 4th F1 racer to be knighted after the late Australian Jack Brabham, Stirling Moss, and triple champion Jackie Stewart, and the only one to receive the award while still racing. He grew up in the UK in social housing as the son of immigrants from the Caribbean, but is now a resident of Monaco. Some fans felt it was long overdue for Hamilton to receive a knighthood. How about you? This brings us to the end of today's edition of the Scholarlynk News. Please remember to subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified of our new videos. As always, this is the Scholarlynk team wishing you goodbye and have a wonderful day.